So just to get like let's just set the scene. My Kokomi, if you look at her damage numbers during her ultimate, she does about 40k damage per second. And that is guaranteed damage. So in my opinion, as like a sort of player, like a whale player with a couple of constellations on a few of the characters, I obviously want my main damage dealers to at least average out like 40k damage per second. Otherwise, we're just better off using Kokomi. So what typically happens is with under attacking is if our characters do not crit, like let's say my Eula does not crit, then effectively her DPS, including like her like source, like her E ability and like her auto attacks, will typically be just like slightly below this. And of course, if Eula does crit, you can see here, then she does like an almost like 100k damage per second, which is really awesome. And that's what I'd expect from the main damage dealer. And this is typically what I'd expect from the burst, from the tanky and like yielding like hybrid support Kokomi. Again, also important to contextualize numbers. So when does under attacking become a problem? Well, typically that's when you haven't built your crit rate properly on your characters. But more importantly, it's when you have like singular characters like Hu Tao or like Raiden Shogun or Eula, or any character that takes a significant on-field time and your characters do not crit properly, you can get like a severe DPS loss. And this is why, like we've argued since Raiden's release, Raiden and Eula is not always like the best pairing. They can work when executed properly, but it's quite difficult. And in this sense, you now understand why teams like the national team, for instance, Bennett, Xingqiu, Xiangling, and let's say a Nemo support, Kazuha, is so strong because each one of those units, think about what they do. Bennett puts down a buff, and then Xiangling and Xingqiu effectively snapshot their off-field elemental burst off of this. So what happens is you've got like damage that continuously hits the enemy, causes like reactions, let's say vaporize, and that is really good because it keeps up that constant DPS. So in a sense, they always have like around, I don't know exactly the numbers, but it's very easy to imagine a team like that doing around 40k DPS per second, which means they're not under attacking, and that, in my opinion, is the true strength of the national team. Now, the next topic on over attacking is something that I don't think a lot of the F2P community really understands that well, just because their damage numbers are not as high. But over attacking refers to the fact that you're in the Spiral Abyss, you've now one-shot at the first floor, and now once you're at Magokenki, you've got no elemental burst ready. So like you see on screen here, we're now in a case where we can't set up any rotations. We first need to build our elemental burst and then get into a rotation to deal damage. So in a sense, when you attack too fast, when your damage numbers are too high, you can sabotage your clearing times and you can actually give yourself like an effective DPS loss because you need to make up that time. And that is very prominent when you try and set a clearing condition in the Spiral Abyss, or let's say like in the newest sort of event here where you want to try and clear it as quickly as possible. If you don't manage your elemental burst economy properly, then you are effectively guilty in a certain sense of over attacking, and that by itself is also problematic. It's not a topic I see Fairycrafters tackle often, but I do think as the game goes on and people like have like stronger accounts, we will see that this becomes problematic. And that leads me to like the final sort of wrap up. The one character in the current team that you're seeing on screen that does not have a question mark regarding her healing or her damage is Kokomi. All the other characters here are to some degree dependent on crit rate, crit damage, elemental reactions being buffed, etc. But Kokomi is the one element in the team that I can honestly know what her numbers are. In fact, you can't argue that this is wrong because this number is so consistent because Kokomi can't crit. You can do multiple takes and you will see that Kokomi's numbers are like on average pretty spot on. So think about the implications. If I sense that my team is under attacking, then I can mediate that by using Kokomi to sort of boost that DPS to 40k. If my team is over attacking and I feel that, like, we are clearing things too fast, or we won't have like our elemental burst ready, and because look, this account is C6, so we're going to clear things pretty fast, then what I can do is I can actually go to Kokomi and slow down the amount of DPS I'm doing. And in that sense, also with the jellyfish generating energy for Raiden, etc., and like me continuously attacking the enemy, we can sort of now put ourselves in a better position to clear the next floor, and also perhaps, and also in a certain sense, to conserve ultimates, because if I can save like Raiden's burst like for the next floor, just by using Kokomi on this floor, instead of trying to go for the quick clear left swipe and have like zero energy, then that's going to help me, because my overall DPS is not going to be lost. Because what's Raiden Shogun going to do? Well, the Kokomi burst that I just now used to mediate over attacking is now refunded, and my Raiden Shogun then sets up the rest of the team, and now we can get like into a proper rotation. So in a very advanced sense, Kokomi is a very strong team stabilizer, not just in terms of stabilizing like with healing and cleansing and attacking and defending and tanking and so on, but she's also stabilizes your elemental burst economy. And that is something Theory crafters don't really talk about.